Astrological forecast for November 2025 for representatives of the sign of Taurus. November 2025, for you is a time when a lot of your attention you will be devoting to the sphere of partnership relations. Here much can change. You will be revisiting the principles of your relationships and the conditions of your cooperation. Moreover, this process can occur, so to speak, bilaterally. That is, both you yourself can change your decision, your opinion, your position, but also your partner's circumstances can change or they can unexpectedly change their mind. That is, throughout November you will have a feeling that many conversations and conditions of cooperation have to be discussed anew. That again, you need to say something, explain, convince someone of something. Nevertheless, precisely the sphere of partnership relations for you in November is the sector of profit. Therefore, any, so to speak, renegotiations, they will be profitable for you in the final count. In November, you can make a decision or approve some plan, which you will implement a little later, namely in the middle of January 2026. Also in this month, two tense astrological aspects will be forming with the participation of revolutionary and unpredictable Uranus, which speaks to the fact that here there can be events that will require quick actions, quick decisions, so to speak, without preparation, impromptu. Also here there can be disruptions in the work of electrical appliances, some habitual technology for you, and also breakdowns can occur in plans in which you were confident. That is, some unexpected breakdowns can occur in the habitual schedule for you. The end of November is a time when it is worth thoroughly thinking through the words that you want to say. Since the conjunction of the black moon with Mercury and Venus, this can speak to the fact that here a tangle of misunderstanding will be forming. There can be a situation of a broken telephone. Also at the end of this month, it is worth with caution interfering in the affairs of other people, since at this time, you can be inclined to do what is called to inflict good. In general, November 2025, for you is a time that can bring surprises, but they will go to your benefit in the final count. Let us discuss in detail the most important astrological events of the month and their influence on your sign step by step. On November 2, the planet Venus, which is the ruler of your sign and symbolizes all earthly blessings, will be in a tense aspect in relation to the planet Jupiter. And this can give such a dual sensation that on one hand it is difficult for us to relax when we are resting, and at the same time it is difficult for us to get together, to concentrate in those periods when we are working. Also at this time, some unplanned matters can arise. On November 4, in the starry sky, the most tense astrological aspect of this month will form. This is an opposition between the planet Mars and Uranus. This is a time that can bring some surprises, unexpected meetings, conversations, unexpected breakdowns, disruptions in the habitual life schedule. This aspect will be affecting the financial axis of your horoscope. Therefore, here there can be disputes on financial topics. Here there can be disputes concerning some joint expenses or concerning the cost of any goods and services. For this day, for November 4, one should not plan the resolution of any important questions, since here everything can develop rather tensely, nervously, and unpredictably. On November 5, for your sign, is a very important day. On this day, a full moon occurs precisely in your sign, in the first house of your horoscope. A full moon in one's own sign, it gives a completion, a culmination of some important task for you, which is most relevant for you at the given period of time. A full moon in one's own sign places us in the center of attention when people want to talk with us, want to find out something from us, are interested in us. This is a good time for making some advertisements, presentations, self-presentations. But here one needs to take into account that not everything may go according to the plan outlined by you beforehand. Also, this is a time that can bring some results and a culmination in the process of transformation, which may be connected with work. For some, this may become a time of changes in the conditions of your work or the system of payment for your labor. For some, this full moon will play out as important events in the affairs of your key partners. Very often a full moon in one's own sign gives us a sensation that we have gotten rid of some problem, resolved an unpleasant task for us, some difficult question. On November 6, the planet Venus, the ruler of your sign and the planet that symbolizes material and emotional well-being, transitions into the space of your 7th astro field, where it will be located right up until November 30. This is a favorable transit of Venus for your sign. Despite the fact that it will be located in a position to the 1st house of your horoscope, this transit shows that profit comes to you from other people, from your clients, from key partners for you. This transit of Venus will bring you something pleasant, emotionally or profitable materially, that which is connected with your partnership relations. Here, the conditions of your agreements with other people may be revised in your favor, for example, with your employer or with your clients. This is a time that can bring an improvement in the financial state of affairs of your partner in your personal life. This is a time when some bonuses, gifts may come, they may send you discount cards. That is, this is a time that one way or another will bring you additional profit, which is connected with cooperation with other people or organizations. For some, this transit of Venus will play out through the sector of precisely personal life, as a new acquaintance, as an improvement of relations with your partner, pleasant meetings, dates, and in general a greater sensation of harmony in a pair than it was before. Also in this period, you will be able to find a common language, some compromise solutions, even with rather difficult to communicate with people. On November 8, revolutionary and unpredictable Uranus returns briefly into your sign, where it will stay until April 26, 2026. I will remind you that Uranus was in your sign from 2018, bringing you many unexpected decisions, unpredictable events, unexpected changes in those life spheres that seemed to you stable and not requiring any changes. And now Uranus already briefly returns into your sign in order to once again check how much you have learned to react quickly, how much you have learned to live without attachment to something stable, how much you are ready to learn something new and quickly react to the change of external circumstances. Uranus in your sign will be active until April 26, 2026. And then it will already finally and irrevocably leave your sign. Therefore, some periods of turbulence this concluding transit of Uranus can still bring you, but they undoubtedly will go to your benefit, since Uranus is the planet of the future. In the period from November 9 to November 29, the planet Mercury will be in retrograde motion, which will be affecting your 8th and 7th astro field. Mercury symbolizes thoughts, decisions, words, memory. It also symbolizes documents, calculations, computations. And the retrograde motion of Mercury will be affecting precisely the sector of your financial agreements and mutual settlements with other people. Here, the principles of how your joint budget is shared or filled may change. You may revise the cost of your services that you provide to clients. The cost of habitual goods and services for you may change, including. This is a time when you can resolve some questions that are connected with your financial agreements, not only with people, but also with organizations. This is a time when you can visit a bank or some other financial organization for resolving your questions, in order to arrange or rearrange an account in a bank, in order to pay off some debt or fine, in order to resolve a question that may be connected with an insurance policy or some joint expenses. This is a time when you can revise the items of your constant regular expenses. The cost of the rental payment that you pay or the payment that is paid to you may change. This is in general a very good time for bringing to a result, to a logical completion, some processes that are already occurring, especially such where mutual financial payments are implied. Whatever it may be, on November 12, the planet Mercury in its retrograde motion will be passing the aspect of conjunction with the planet Mars. That is, Mercury is thoughts, words, decisions, and Mars is actions. And this conjunction will be passing in your 8th house of the horoscope in the sector of common and joint finances and resources. This is a day when you can sharply change your decision. At that, you will be understanding that yes, at some point you thought so, agreed on such conditions, but now the circumstances have changed, and you are changing your decision. Also on this day, you can mentally approve some plan, some decision, but you will proceed to its implementation a little later, around the middle of January 2026. And on this same day, November 12, generous Jupiter, the most generous planet of the solar system, turns into retrograde motion, which will last right up to March 11, 2026. In detail about the meaning of this retrograde motion of Jupiter, About this, I will make a separate video. On November 19, in the starry sky, another tense aspect of this month will form. This is an aspect of opposition between the planet Mercury and the planet Uranus. And this aspect will be affecting the axis of your relationships, your 1st and 7th houses of the horoscope. This is one more day in this month when much can go not according to plan, when agreements can break down. This day can bring a feeling of haste, nervousness. Here it is important to protect your nervous system, to try to maintain calm and not to engage in this general rhythm of haste. On this day, there can be unexpected calls, meetings, unexpected conversations. It is better not to make any decisions throughout this day, such decisions that are based on momentarily received information. The information needs to be checked. On November 20, a new moon occurs in the sign of Scorpio in your 7th house of the horoscope, the sector of partnership relations. The new moon gives something new, and the 7th house symbolizes key partners for us. These are both our relationships with a partner in personal life, with our friends, and also with our business companions. The new moon brings something new agreements, new joint plans, joint ideas. For some, this may become a period of a new acquaintance in the sector of personal life. If you work, providing some services or goods to people who are your clients, then, starting from this day, the flow of clients to you will be large. The conditions of your cooperation with those clients with whom you work now may change. Also here there can be important events, some news that is connected with the affairs of your partner in your personal life or the affairs of your close friends. On November 21, the planet Mercury will be in conjunction with the black moon in the sector of your partnership relations. This is a day when one should not trust the spoken words, and you yourself on this day can say something superfluous or formulate your thought in such a way that you will be misunderstood. But your partners can also act in the same way. On this day, misunderstandings and mistakes are possible. Therefore, if for this period you are planning the receipt of some documents, the signing of documents, agreements, then one needs to be very attentive. The conjunction of Mercury with the black moon is the beginning of an annual cycle, which each for themselves defines as a choice between life in lies and truth. That is, this is a time when we decide for ourselves which path we choose. Will we go along the path of least resistance, not say something, hide, or will we go along the path of truth? And an important and correct decision on this day will be the decision to speak the truth at least to ourselves. That is, not to engage at a minimum in self-deception. On November 24, in the starry sky, a very important astrological aspect is heard. On this day, the planet Mars, the planet of energy, strength actions, will be in tense aspects in relation to the karmic lunar nodes, in relation to the axis of time. That is, Mars, the energy of actions, on this day will be located between the past and the future. And for your sign, this will be affecting the 8th, 5th, and 11th astro field. This shows that precisely on this day you internally make a decision, how you will act further. And the matter is not even in the direction of your actions, but the essence of this choice is in whether we will act or be inactive. Precisely on this day you will understand that the tactic of waiting and inaction, that it does not bring any significant changes in life, that in order to radically change and improve something, actions are necessary. On November 25, the planet Mercury will be in conjunction with the planet Venus in your 7th house of the horoscope. This is a day of pleasant meetings and pleasant conversations with interesting people. On November 28, the planet Venus will be in conjunction with the black moon. This is a day when attentiveness is needed in relation to one's own actions directed at the good of other people. Precisely on this day, we can do what is called to inflict good. That is, with the best intentions, we can try to help another person resolve some questions, to do what is better. In our view for this person, but he actually does not need it that way. That is, one needs to try to restrain oneself on this day if you are trying to resolve some question for another person, and in the way you consider correct, since for this person a useful and correct solution may be completely different. On November 30, the planet Venus transitions into the space of the sign Sagittarius in your 8th house of the horoscope. A time of growth of your incomes and the appearance of new hobbies for you begins. This is a time when profit can come to you from afar, and in the most favorable manner, Various kinds of financial questions will be resolved. That is how, from the point of view of astrology, November 2025 will be. And I wish you a wonderful, successful month, dear Taurus.